Hello, everyone at CFRE, and welcome back to another exclusive interview. My name is Arundhati Banerjee, and I'm the events director at CFRE. And we are here with Yash Shah. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, my name is Yash. I'm from Whitby, Ontario, originally from India, and I'm a singer-songwriter, make songs, heavily influenced by guitar players from 80s. So
Mhm.
sounds more like it.
Great, great. You are releasing a song that's coming out soon. So what inspired you to write that song? How come you're releasing it now?
So I'm a big fan of guitar players, as I mentioned, and I was going through some old Eric Clapton records from like 1980s and early 90s. So I had this idea of bringing it to the current age.
Okay.
So, um, and then when we sat and we were like, oh, we need something. I sat with my producer and like, we need something that we can play it. And I wanted a song when you make it loud in your speakers, it sounds amazing. Every time you make like 1 dB louder, it sounds just amazing.
Mhm.
So we were flirting with the idea, but we didn't get through it. Like we couldn't do it, finish in time. And then in 2021 July, exactly 2 years ago, John Mayer released a sob rock album, which is like heavily based off that genre. So that inspired me a lot to make it
Right.
like something like that. And then the single from their album, Last Train Home, which is like my favorite track.
Mhm.
So we sat there, we just did like, okay, let's do this. How do we want to write it?
Mhm.
So I have this tendency to write about the things that happen in a recent past. So
Right.
I said that, and the first thing came was just like, I know you do.
Mhm.
And we just started from there. And I finished the track like writing in like 15 minutes, I believe, 15 to 20 minutes.
Wow. Of
So we had the guitar part and the writing from day one, but I mean, as the life gets through you, it takes time to record everything. And
course.
I wanted it to sound bigger and bigger, so it took a time to finish it, but finally we are good with the tracking.
Right.
So yeah,
So your single is called No You Do.
yes.
Um, so it sounds like you already knew what you wanted it to sound like, but like you just had to add the elements together. So how long, like you said that it took you 15 minutes to write the track, um, but it took time to develop it, correct? Like
Yeah,
you were
yes,
revising it.
yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
So the intro solo that we have in this the song has been done even before I wrote those words
Okay.
because I wanted it to sound something like this. So all the musicians has this tendency to hear the song that they are going for.
Mhm.
So when I heard it, I had that part recorded. The rest of it's like, yeah, these are the basics and all that. But as the time went, we wanted it to sound more 80s. So we wanted it to be old to our ears.
Mhm.
So it can sound like old, but the composition is like fresh, new take on it.
Okay.
So it took 2 years to finish it.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't written a song before, but I I've tried and it's never been a success for me. So writing a song
Uh,
is something that I really do admire. Um, so would you say that music has been a big part of your family? Like, do you consider it to be something that's in your blood?
no, nobody in my family ever did music or nowhere close to it. I am an engineer by trade.
Right.
I didn't do like I did my bachelor's in automobile, but I didn't work on it after that.
Okay.
I started working on my guitar way back, like probably 11 years ago,
Hmm.
and ever since, this is me now.
So I mean, like I'm really glad that you did that because your songs are great. And like what influenced you to do it? Because it
Uh,
must be difficult to go to like a completely different direction like than someone else in your family,
hmm,
no?
yes. So everybody, like in my family, everyone wanted me to be an engineer, so I did.
Okay.
Um, but when I discovered music, and I remember it was like 1st of May 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was playing for another artist, and I was on stage for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And for that 35 minutes, I completely lost track of time
Mm-hmm.
in that moment. So that day, I knew that I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. Because that 10 minutes of a stage, like 35 minutes of a stage, but it only felt like a fraction of time in my head because I was so busy with the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea of playing it live and seeing everyone enjoying the music that you do is just phenomenal. That feeling, probably I can write tons of songs, but I would never put words to that feeling. Like there is no explanation for it.
Mm-hmm.
So that inspired me a lot. And seeing my guitar heroes live, like John Mayer, Eric Clapton, killing the instrument right in front of me, that inspires me a lot.
So you are originally from India, correct?
Yes.
So can you tell me what made you go for more of a Western style music field rather than like
The Bollywood music, yeah.
working into like the
Yeah.
Bollywood
Yeah.
music or the classical music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been classically trained for my vocals, and I did Bollywood music for like major part of my career. But I remember before starting recording this stuff or producing anything, um, in 2008 or 9, I discovered the Michael Jackson Best 25 record from a local record store, and it blew my mind how he did it. And then I just took a deep dive into like Motown records from 1980s to 1990s. So I guess I've been doing 1980s music even before I started music.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that in my blood, but then I listened to a lot of Bollywood music. I played for different regional films and produced the stuff for that.
Really?
But I always had a thing for a guitar.
Okay.
So, and as you know, Bollywood music is not a guitar centric music. I
Yes.
mean, it's made for the films, so you can understand.
Yeah.
So I wanted my music to sound more guitaristic, which is really hard to do with Bollywood or Hindi-ish stuff. So, and on the top of it, I also like the writing from different, like the new age artists like Ed Sheeran,
Mm-hmm.
Shawn Mendes.
Right.
Like it's still guitaristic music, but more so it's more like a pop.
Correct. More contemporary.
So
Yes.
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 So yeah, there was the idea of a switching genre probably 2 years ago from like Hindi Bollywood to what I wanted to do from in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I make a switch. Yeah, that's when I did the switch.
Being an Indian musician and like working in the Western field, what would you say is like the biggest difference between Indian music compared to like Canadian music or like just contemporary Western
Yeah.
music?
Um, well, this is a good question. It's a really good question. Uh, the good difference that I would suggest is the flowing of the ideas, the way Western music is or has been developed from all those years, from like 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s.
Mhm,
They kept the sound same. Like you hear guitar, it still sounds the same as they were sounding 60 years ago.
mhm.
With the Bollywood or Hindi music, it's always improving. It's always going in a different direction. Every film, every movie is like, this is the scene, so we want a song like that. Now, there are songwriters who can do it like that, and they are amazing.
Yeah,
But my writing has never been like that. I I could write to the song, to the scene as a music, but to words, I could never put words to that feeling. Because usually, for me at least, if I don't feel it, I don't write it.
yeah.
So that's the biggest difference. And other than that, I would say Hindi cinema or Hindi music is more open in terms of the ideas of like how the words would go or how the melody's gonna go.
Mhm.
With the Western music, you can really go into like one genre, keep it in one box, and you
Yes,
can make it more like it. So that's the biggest difference.
definitely. I mean, from my experience, I know that a lot of the Bollywood music that has become popular is oftentimes like very um like romantic kind of
Yeah.
songs, it's oftentimes about love.
Yeah.
And in the Western style, there's like different genres of music that get popular. Like you just have to, I guess you just have to have like a certain catchy
Yeah.
like lyric or
Mhm.
melody, and it's gonna be
Mhm.
good. Yeah, I totally get that. And
Mhm.
I mean, you're telling me about what inspired you to write No You Do.
Mhm.
And I guess that it transitions better into a Western style music rather than
Yeah.
a Bollywood style music. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes
And
sense.
it uh, this is super weird. Like I wrote my stuff in my mother tongue. That's Gujarati, also in Hindi, also
Okay.
in English. So the process for writing is also kind of different. So English, you usually go with the chorus, pre-chorus, verse. It
Yeah.
goes reverse. With the Hindi, you go from top, go verse, pre-chorus, chorus. If you want bridge and everything like that. So I mean, that's how I do it. That's how I've been taught to do it. But it could be a good transition if you know a different style of a music and if you blend it together. Like you can hear a Hindi. Like I've been listening to Arijit Singh a lot, like almost
Yeah,
whole my life. So you can hear in my vocals the way I sing it. It has that thing to it. So it's good to blend it.
definitely,
Mhm.
definitely. You said that you've written your song in Gujarati.
Yeah.
Do you think that there will be a Gujarati version of No You Do?
uh, I don't think so. It would translate that good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you would
Uh,
have to change a few words, or maybe even
yeah,
like a Hindi version.
yeah,
Um, but I think that would sound really good if you can just like, I mean, you would have to find the right
yeah.
words for
Like,
it.
yeah,
And
right rhyming for it.
yeah, yeah, definitely. That's the hard one. But
Yeah.
maybe it could be just like a different version of it.
I'll give it a shot when I'll
Okay.
be 60. I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Um, so are we expecting any new songs from you?
So I have Bunt in a store right now. We are working on an EP. We are planning to release it sometime this year, maybe next year.
Okay.
And also I have another single which is coming right after No You Do. It's like in a month or so, I believe. It's called West Side. For that, I'm also going in a different direction. It's all no like a big music thing or a grand, nothing grandness in it. Straight me, my vocals, and a piano, nothing fancy.
Mhm.
Guitar solo at the end. But it's something else. It has more Hindi features to it than
Okay.
English. But yeah,
Okay, great.
yeah.
So it sounds like to me that you're testing out different styles for every single music that you're doing. Um, pardon me. You're testing out every single style for every single single
Yeah.
that you're doing. Um, so like, do you think that your genre will change, or are you keeping it to the middle between um, Bollywood and Western?
Oh, that another good question. I never thought of it that way, but my basic whole idea is when I want to play those songs live, if I'm playing like 10 of my songs right after one another, I want it to be fun. Like for audience, it's going to be fun because we are testing new music. It's new stuff you hear every day.
Mhm,
But for me, like I want it to be fun for me to play it, to change that mindset.
mhm.
Like No You Do sounds like total 80s or early 90s. And then my previous single, which is like Sleep Tonight, it sounds more like 2010s. It's like the weekend vibe.
Right.
So I want it to be more fun playing live.
Mhm.
So when I write a song, I would imagine it that how would it sound in live settings, or
Right.
where can I put more guitar into it, or where can I play with those synths.
Yes.
So that's the idea. But I'm also going for. I also have this idea to keep changing the music. So I'm sorry. So I don't sound like me.
Mhm.
Every single time you hear it, you wouldn't expect that. Oh, this is the same guy.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's what I'm going for, at least for now.
That is very cool. I guess when writing music, you have to be very cautious about like what the audience wants, and then you
Yes.
change it up a little bit. Makes sense. Um, do you think that you would like have someone like would you have a debut with someone or like feature someone in your music?
Uh,
Or if you had the chance to feature someone in your music, who do you think it would be?
would be John Mayer for sure.
John Mayer?
Yeah, I'm gonna play right next to him, Scotiabank Arena one day for sure. And I want it to be No You Too.
Yeah, of course, of course. Like you can tell him that like John Mayer inspired you so much
Yeah.
to write this song, and that is like it would be amazing to play with him.
Yeah. So I like seeing him live in 2022 for his Sob Rock tour was a life-changing experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's I can't imagine how it must be to like see one of your influences or
Yeah.
inspirations perform.
Like I saw him really, I was in the last seat of the arena, so I couldn't see him at all. I
Yeah.
was just hearing his guitar playing and it just blew my mind. The guy played for 2 hours without any mistake. That's unreal.
So, Yash Shah, thank you so much for coming to this interview. Um, I am so glad that I got to meet you. I was actually very excited for
Me
this
too.
interview. um, if you would be so kind, can you please tell our viewers your social media accounts? And you can send them to me, and then I will also put them out on CFRE. Yeah. And
So on Instagram, you can find me as my first name. It's Yash, and my dad's name, which is Valkesh. It's Yash Valkesh on Instagram, and I only use Instagram. On YouTube, it's my first name, last name, so it's Yash Shah.
okay.
On YouTube, the song No You Do is gonna be out on August 3rd, which is next Thursday, I believe, and it's gonna be out at midnight anywhere, everywhere,
Mhm.
and I am super excited for it. If you have any reviews, please send it to me on Instagram. I'll
Of
respond
course.
right away.
Definitely, definitely. It will do well. It will do very well.
I'm hoping for it.
Yes.
It took 2 years of my life, so it should.
Of course. I
Yeah,
mean, it's a commitment.
yeah.
No. But thank you, Yash, for coming and taking your time in your like very busy days to interview with CFRE. And thank you to the viewers who came and watched. So Know You Do will be available on all streaming platforms. And so be sure to check it out and add it to your favorites.
And one more thing to add, I'm sorry to cut you off. Thank
Yes,
you for
please.
letting me share my views on my song. It's a big thing for an immigrant to come in a different country and do an interview like this. So thank you so much.
At least I gave it a try. It's time to say